Joy and creativity exist at the intersection of feeling good and doing good. Hey, I'm Marc Cordon Creative, and welcome to the channel where we're going to be talking about all things creative, all things joy, all things social change. What happens when we start putting those things together? Well, maybe you're a podcaster with a purpose. Maybe you're an aspiring TEDx speaker who wants their talk to go way further than building their resume. Maybe you're a digital course creator who wants to create a course that helps us unlearn some of the insidious, nasty stuff that we pick up growing up, like fear or playing small, right? Or maybe you're just a do-gooder. You've come to the right place. So what I'm going to be talking about today in this first video is about finding your joy revolution and how your life can completely change and how other people's lives can change when you're operating from your joy revolution. Now, joy revolutions are very different for every single person, but one thing that rings true to all joy revolutions is number one, joy revolutions internally feel like your heart runneth over. You are completely overwhelmed with happiness and joy. Then the second part is that you use that happiness and joy to create positive social change, feeling good on the inside, and then making change happen on the outside. And we'll talk about it a little more. I wouldn't have you identify your joy revolution unless I did it for myself. Plus, I guess with this first video, it's a good place to tell a backstory. Who doesn't love one of those, right? So my backstory actually happens before I was even born. It happens in the Philippines. My dad grew up in the northern part of the Philippines. He was kind of like a playboy slash rock star dude. And then my mom grew up in a more humble part of the Philippines in the south. She didn't have electricity or telephones when she was growing up. Now, both of them ended up wanting to pursue medicine, and they were kind of in the same school at the same time. They knew of the other person, but didn't actually know them well, right? My dad came to the United States by himself. He landed in LA, which is perfect for his playboy rock star lifestyle. My mom ended up being in Minnesota. And I think my mom ended up moving to Ohio, and then my dad like randomly came over there as well. And they're like, you remember? And they got together and they created something amazing. They created me. They created me. And more than that, they created me and provided our family with some really, really cool stuff. They gave my sister and I the American dream. And one of the things that was also just a part of my household was music. So when I became of age, they immediately sent me to music school. And this is the result. I'm playing at a violin recital. I'm 3/4 size, and my violin is 3/4 size as well. Red cummerbund, right? And sometimes I'd wear those like frilly things, and I didn't have the nerve to tell my folks that I didn't want to play the violin. I wanted to be Michael Jackson. I wanted to be on stage, like in front of millions of people, like bringing folks to this sort of collective effervescence that would just runneth over. But where did I find out about Michael Jackson? Well, it was the media, right? It was on the television shows, like Saved by the Bell, which taught me about what a normal American kid in school looks like. And one of the things that in retrospect now, I didn't see a lot of people who represented Filipino Americans, Asian Americans in those. I don't remember a lot of Filipino Americans or Asian Americans in Saved by the Bell. And so what I do remember in retrospect was, I think it was mom. She had a Time magazine that had a bunch of Asian Americans on the front of it. And the magazine said those Asian American whiz kids, right? And I thought that was kind of cool at first, the benevolent stereotype. And again, I didn't think of it as being anything except for positive. But in looking back to that time, I also didn't see Asian Americans doing anything else. I didn't see them in rock bands, or I didn't see them wanting to be Michael Jackson. And I think that ate away at me because the dream to be Michael Jackson was kind of lost and abandoned by the time I went to college. Maybe the best that I can do is become a doctor like my parents did. And maybe that whole idea of wanting to follow my dreams just is me acting like a child. So by the time I graduated from my undergrad, I was a neuroscience major, and then I went and got my master's degree. So this is my this is the day that I received my master's degree, and like, look how excited my parents, my sister, are in that photo, and like here I am with these goofy aviator glasses, like, with this punk ass look on my face, thinking that I had the world conquered, that I had everything that I needed to be happy, that I got to follow in footsteps, and I was a rock star just like dad, right? And then day by day, I started to kind of abhor the things that I was doing with my job and my degrees, to the point where it would be a Sunday night and I'd be dreading having to go to work the next day. And so I did what every normal person would do. I went, joined a band because I still wanted to be Michael Jackson, right? And it was a cool gig. I did the master's degree, that sort of living the good life didn't happen. But here I was living a happy life where every night, even though it's not millions of people, I got to connect with an audience. And I guess that's my happiness, right? That's my happiness, is what I told myself. And it wasn't. There was a certain amount of me being like, God, there's got to be more to life than this. I'm not living this life of living the good life. And something fortuitous came at a battle of the bands. We were in Jacksonville, Florida. The MC came on and he took one look at us and he was like, and now for the cultural act of the night. That dude, it wasn't like I was even thinking. I just got on the mic and I said, yo, you're about as cultural to me as I am to you. And like this collective oh came upon the crowd. And by the way, we got second place of the battle of the bands. And in that moment, something changed. I really started digging deeper and digging deeper and digging deeper to this sort of metaphorical underground, where I would have the opportunity to start really processing my identity, processing where I was coming from, and articulating all of that. And here I was, this person who got the master's degree, this person who got the neuroscience degree. I was given everything, and yet I dropped the ball. I couldn't act like an adult and just stick with my master's degree. And then here I was, a person who enjoyed making music and connecting to other people through music, but also delivering a deeper level of lyrics that would address some of the feelings of me feeling marginalized and invisible. And in so many ways, that was a period of my life where I was like, I feel good and I'm also doing good. Now, years later, a person who would have become one of the most impactful people in my life, Dr. Corey Keyes, who's a sociologist at Emory University, went and talked about these kinds of happiness, right? The first type of happiness, just the feeling good on stage, he said came from this philosopher named Epicurus. And Epicurus was like, yo, the key to happiness. I don't know if he said yo back then, but Epicurus said, happiness is the taste of a grape. It's the kiss of a partner. It's the smell of the grass after the rain. And so Epicurus called this type of happiness hedonic happiness, because it's there, it's in the moment, then it goes away. I think that's what I was trying to do in the band, right? Now, the thing is that if someone pursues just the hedonic forms of happiness, they tend to go and settle in their life. And what I mean by that is, one day, they jump out of a plane, they go skydiving, and then they're like, nope, that doesn't make me fully happy. I'm gonna sleep with 50 men and women. Nope, doesn't make me happy. They might want to go run with the bulls in Spain. And so what's left happening when you only are in that hedonic form of happiness is that you end up settling and asking the question, there's got to be more to life than this. And on the second place, Aristotle came back and talked about happiness and was like, I refute that, man. Happiness is the feeling of doing good, living a life well lived. It's about feeling your passions and really having that happen over the long run. He called this form of happiness eudaimonia, the good demon, right? The living the good life. Although this is a very purposeful form of happiness, if you do it too much and you don't have the hedonic happiness, you don't have that those feel goods just in the moment, you end up striving, you're chasing, and you're burning out to the point where you're chasing what it is that you want to do, but you're saying, there's got to be more to life than this. Now, if you've ever felt yourself settling or felt yourself striving, if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're alive, right? In a very quick way, let's start talking about how you can identify your joy revolution, because your joy revolution is both feeling the happiness, right? You're also feeling like you're living the good life. So on to your joy revolution. Essentially, I want you to take out a piece of paper, make 2 columns. Now on the right column, I want you to write do good, right? That's eudaimonia, the good life that Aristotle talked about. And on the left column, take as much time as you can, write all the things that bring you that temporary hedonic happiness that Epicurus talked about. Take your time, fill it out. Now go and circle the things that show up both on the left side and on the right side. And guess what? That's your joy revolution. The things that happen in both columns, right? Now, the cool thing is your joy revolution changes throughout your life. I absolutely loved being on stage and I loved writing all those lyrics, and I still will continue to write those lyrics. But at the same time, my joy revolution is recording this for you 4:30 in the morning because I love what I'm doing, right? I love what I'm doing. I feel happy doing this. And I also feel like I'm doing good by helping other people find their joy revolution, get on those TEDx stages, create that podcast, and create that digital course that we all desperately need right now. So with that said, there's 3 things that I want you to take away from this. The first thing is joy and creativity. Joy and creativity exist at the intersection of feeling good and doing good. It's the foundation of the joy revolution. This intersection isn't just about fleeting happiness. It's about sustained joy that comes from engaging in activities that not only bring us pleasure, but also have a positive impact on those around us. And that brings us to the next point. It's here that true creativity is sparked. And this isn't about replicating and replicating and replicating the way things had been done before. It's about pioneering new ways to express ourselves, to solve problems, and to light other people up. And that brings me to the last point. In this place of true creation, you now have the ability to move others. That's your joy revolution. And with all of that said, there's a quote that another one of my colleagues, Dr. Andy Kazama, also at Emory University, taught me about like what a joy revolution is. And so he sent me this quote right when I first met him, and I'll never forget it because I think about it every day. Quote, "The master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his education and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing. To him, he is always doing both." Unquote. LP Jacks. And there you have it. First video down. Not going to tell you how many outtakes it took to get us here. But if you are down with creating social change, if you are down with doing it in joy, if you are down in creativity, I'd love for you to subscribe and be a part of the Joy Revolution fam, and press the notifications bell so you know when the new videos are coming out. And with that said and done, keep digging, and I'll see you in the underground. Bye. Hey, I'm Marc Cordon. Why did I snap? Marc Cordon.